By the way, Leroy, I have later on in the program, I have a rebuttal for what you said yesterday when I wasn't here to defend myself. I have a rebuttal.
Taking notes?
Oh
what is
my
this?
goodness! What are you
this?
taking
the
notes?
Presidential debate?
Well, I wasn't here. Like he made some comments blasting me, and I had a rebuttal for everything you said. And we'll get to that. It's an hour two.
What guy?
I just happened to be listening. I'm like,
keep it happening. You took over the chat section.
I don't know about that. I mean, that was just.
I have a rebuttal for all of Dolphins Twitter that was annoying my mentions last night. What? Idiots.
Well, look, you can't get mad at that.
Yes, I can.
Because periodically, when you have nothing to do, you just throw a little chum in the water. So stop with the people.
I will not.
But you perhaps threw a little chum in the water.
Is this? I mean, I'm not plugged in on social media, but I am plugged into the text you guys send me. And so, does this have anything to do with Javonte James, from the Denver Broncos being
it does
out for the year, potentially tearing his Achilles at an off-site workout, and then maybe Tobin possibly throwing out the possibility of oh, yeah, Denver, you think you got cute trading up to get a running back right before us? Or now you need a tackle. Now give us Javonte Williams for Liam Eichenberg.
I think it's a fun idea.
It's not a terrible idea.
I think it's a fun idea. We're sitting here in the middle of the draft. How many times you're doing a draft, you draft for talent, but you also draft for need, and then all of a sudden the facts have changed, and you need to switch up needs, and the Dolphins, you swooped in and took who they wanted. So then the Dolphins ended up getting, the next pick they ended up taking Hollywood Vaughn, but then they ended up getting Eichenberg a little bit later, a few picks later. The facts have changed. Give me a little ring. Hey, what's up, new Broncos GM? It's Chris Greer. Hey, you thought you got cute, huh? You took the running back that we wanted. Well, how about I give you a Notre Dame tackle who's never given up a sack in college, and we get our franchise running back. Okay, you guys, I give you 15 minutes to think about it. Right now, I got to go hang out with Jennifer Garner. All right, be back after this.
Jennifer Garner,
draft day, bro.
Yeah, draft day.
Oh,
she was the expert on the cap.
Why
does anybody do it? And everybody. And by the way, forget the fact that nobody does it. You should do it. But secondly, this Dolphins Twitter, who's never seen this Eichenberg throw on a piece of padding. They have no idea how good he is. They've heard of him 3 seconds ago.
All of a sudden,
Eichenberg, he's never given up a sack. Yeah, neither did Romberg, bro. Okay? Like, don't come at me with your Notre Dame stats of what the linemen did. Haven't had a good running back in 5 years.
Now, I will say this. At the current moment, I will give a little validity to this for this reason. At the current moment, not knowing what they have and knowing what you don't have, it doesn't sound like a terrible deal.
Right?
However, if there's one thing that I can take from all that has transpired with the Dolphins and what I went through with Bill Belichick, it almost seems like they could give a rat's ass about a running back. And here's what I'll say about that. The people that don't have a running back say they don't need a running back. And the people that have a running back say he's very important to the success of our team.
We're really gonna do it. Listen, maybe Myles Gaskin turns out to be a fine player, but we're really gonna go into this year with Myles Gaskin and the dude from Cincinnati.
I'm just telling you, that's the way they think.
Don't forget Ahmed.
And I see, here's what they need. In all fairness, they need a guy with a little bit of heat on him, a little bit of size, a little bit of explosion. He don't need to be able to, he don't need to be able to go 80 like everybody tends to think a running back needs to be. And when they control the line of scrimmage, they need a guy that's going to go out there and wear the defense out. And it's all great and fine to have these short, little, fast receivers. But if you look at when teams have had success, it's never been because of that game breaker. It's been because the offensive line and a running back has literally taken over the game by just wearing down that defensive line. Then your quarterback gets to sit back there and throw and pat the ball and read the laces and look at the defense because the defensive line is too exhausted. That aspect of football has never changed.
Right. Like, I don't understand why, like, everybody who's going to go in here and be like, oh, well, we need to protect Tua. I'm like, I'm with that point. But, like, how does mixing up the offense, how does that not help Tua either? Like, because eventually the guy, if you're going to go into a game and this turns out to be another year where you have no run game, no threat, and Tua's going to have to throw the ball 40 times, like, there's going to be a time where he holds onto the ball too long. And how long do you expect these young linemen to hold it up? I don't know. Call me crazy.
Look, and I will say this. One of the things that we don't have access to is what they think of the people they have or what plan they have for that position.
True.
All we have is what the hell we've seen the last couple of years. So I'm certainly not going to discredit what we think about running backs as far as the Dolphins are concerned, and why everybody would think that it maybe would be a good idea to bring one in.
Oh, here's the other thing that got me really annoyed yesterday with this. So I throw out the idea of Eichenberg versus Javonte Williams because I figure, hey, let's actually get the deal done. But then you have these fat and sassy Dolphin fans who wanna do sports radio caller, because basically I'm dealing with a bunch of sports radio callers on Twitter, and they go, nope, we got them by the you-know-whats. Jesse Davis for Javonte Williams. I'm like, are you effing kidding me?
Surprised they didn't offer the 7th round offensive lineman from UMass for Javonte Williams.
Who else? You want to throw in Doliak in the trade? Like Jesse Davis, really? Get the hell out of here. I mean, what are we doing? Or Jesse Davis for Melvin Gordon. All right, bro. You know what? Thanks for calling. And they get so mad, Leroy. They're like, you're an idiot, Tobin. They get so vicious, these Dolphin fans. And then they have the audacity to come at me with Jesse Davis versus Melvin Gordon. Jesus Christ.
Barry Jackson, he's dropping the nugget, as he always does, Pulitzer, that Liam Eichenberg, new offensive lineman for the Dolphins, he's going to be given the chance to start at right tackle.
Yeah, and here's the thing, and I love Barry Jackson, but now you made all these Dolphin fans crazy because now you can't even throw out a little suggestion to them of doing a super trade. Never been done before, all right, of trading second-round picks, all right? And I don't know why it doesn't happen more.
The draft.
Right. Why can't this happen more? All right. Why can't we all just gather around? All right. We have a nice little cool down just happened. We have our draft. And here's the thing. Everybody acts so proud of themselves after the draft. Oh, we got who we wanted. We got everybody who we wanted and targeted, we got. Why can't we just have a real reflection of truth, okay, in the trust tree? All right, and we go hang out with our guys, Elway and the other guy from Denver, and we hang over to them and be like, hey, you know what really happened? You guys got mad we took Jalen Phillips. All right, we got mad that you took Javonte Williams. Why don't we really get down to brass tacks here, which is you guys just lost Jawan James for the season, torn Achilles. You need yourself a tackle. All right, maybe you're going to go trade for Aaron Rodgers. Why don't you send us Javonte Williams, and we'll give you this Notre Dame tackle we didn't even want? All right, let's just yeah. Why don't we just do a little swappy swap? We get the running back we always wanted. You guys can plug a hole at right tackle. Everybody's happy.
Can we think about this in different terms?
Sure.
How would you like to have a guy who's never given up a sack on the backside of your quarterback?
Yeah. Sack.
Yeah.
First of all, he played in the Fugazi ACC last year.
Massive Fugazi.
Like how many? And he did take on Jalen Phillips. So like, how many sacks was he giving up anyway? Like, what was he stopping that mad rush from? Boston
you can say
College?
that about pretty much every position where a guy ends up being an NFL player.
That was an ACC gem, by the way. I have in Miami Notre Dame on the schedule. The 1 year Notre Dame is in the ACC.
Yeah, really great. Yeah, well, you know why? Because they're cowards. That's why. Top coward.
Wait, here. I'm going to say this.
Oh, here comes the 600 yards comment.
And I mean this from the bottom of all that is me. You give up 600 yards rushing to North Carolina, and you're complaining about not playing Notre Dame.
Oh, you always want to play, Leroy. You say this all the time. You're a competitor. You always want that chance.
Oh, I'm sorry. Here, let me.
But again, you can only play the teams that are in front of you.
Do you know what this is, Leroy? Do you know what this is?
What's that?
This is the stats, and in a rivalry game, you throw them out.
Okay.
You throw them out. If it's a rivalry game, Miami.
So if
Notre
it's not
Dame,
a rivalry game, it's okay to give up 600 yards rushing?
Well, if it's a rivalry game, I mean, if it's not a rivalry game, your stats will dictate what happens in the season. But if it's a rivalry game, you take the stats, you throw them out.
They almost rushed for my career high in the NFL in one game.
All right, but if you're the ACC, you're trying to get your best games on TV, especially Notre Dame. They got the NBC package. You don't think you would want Notre Dame Miami on national TV if you're the ACC? The 1 year you could get them in the same conference.
I heard it was because Tirico was too outraged by the turnover chain.
Wouldn't that be something if he did a game? If he did a game and they throw a pick and he, fellas, here it comes. Turnover chain. He just starts.
I just listen.
Now he seems to be like, well, here's how you can tell when a guy is just like serious announcer guy. Because they do football and then they do golf.
Yeah.
And once you get in the golf, your voice, like you can't show. Yeah.
Leroy, I'm gonna ask the question to you. Would you rather look? Ohio State, the Michigan game got canceled this year for whatever reason. Would you rather take the blowout from Ohio State like a man, or would you rather chicken out and not play Ohio State?
That's a different situation. That's like if Miami and Florida State had played against each other for 80 straight years, and then a pandemic hit, and the game you decide to get rid of is Miami, Florida State.
These two teams are in the same conference.
This is a situation that, okay, now all of a sudden Michigan is in the same conference with USC because they're trying to.
They don't have a historic rivalry.
I'm telling you right now, the only reason that Notre Dame hasn't joined the ACC is because they scurred. That's it. That's just
they don't have to. Y'all don't pay them enough.
No, the reason they don't want to come in and join the conference, everybody else is, their entire other sporting universe is the only reason that they haven't joined the ACC is because they're scared of the Canes, and that's it.
From a financial standpoint, they don't have to. They
financial
and get into the playoff,
dude. Financial
and then get drug up.
Nah. Here's a stat for you, ass. All right, this is from Travis Wingfield, does the Dolphins Drive Time podcast. Liam Eichenberg went 33 games without allowing a sack at Notre Dame per Pro Football Focus. Over that span, he was in pass protection for 1,283 snaps, surrendered just 4 QB hits and 3 total pressures. 32 total pressures, excuse me. 1 QB hit for every 320.8 passing pro reps, 1 QB hurry for every 40.1 pass pro reps.
So I have a question. That's all fine and great.
Yeah.
Why wasn't this guy taken in the first round?
I don't know, Robbie.
Yeah, well, look, Sewell's the best of the best, and then you had Rashawn Slater.
But they had 3 or 4 linemen go in the first round.
Yeah, Darisaw go in the first round, 2 out of Virginia Tech. He was. I mean, he played Notre Dame. You said, cement feet. Played in the Fugazi ACC. Didn't have to play against some of the better pass rushers.
Wait. So did the guy from Virginia Tech.
But he went up against Jalen Phillips, and he went up against Rousseau in his time at Virginia Tech.
Just without mentioning their names, I give you a guy that went to Notre Dame and a guy that went to Virginia Tech, and one guy never gave up a sack. Yeah, All I'm asking is why is he gone in the second round and the other guys went in the first round?
And Notre Dame's on an all-world offensive line too. Notre Dame had a bunch of offensive linemen drafted in the first 3 rounds too.
Okay, but I'm just saying, doesn't that something's got to be up?
All right, well, here's what's up.
Is he slow? Like, Does he not have good feet? Something's got to be a reason why.
He looks slow. He looks like like I'm just saying. I'm just like looking at Liam Eichenberg. I'm like, not exactly fleet of foot.
If you ran a 40, you think you could break 5 seconds?
I don't know, but I'm not a professional athlete, so what does it matter?
There you go. See, that's the deal. That's what you could go to.
That'd be the
Like,
truth.
You talk about, but all right. How many people you think watch race on the 40? I can take him.
He skipped the 40.
Oh, red
That's
flag.
it.
Yeah.
Well, you know why? Because he probably just finished. Click. How fast was that? 7 days, 24 hours, 40 minutes.
But who cares about him running the 40? As long as he goes out there and he chews glass, I don't really care. As long as he's in the trenches, that's all that matters.
Right. Like, why would an offensive lineman run a 40 anyway? The only thing you can do is make it work. Who cares if your left tackle runs a 4.6?
I wouldn't care how slow he is, but I mean, the fact that he didn't want to run it, that doesn't show. That shows guts. That doesn't show guts.
Okay. The guy never gave up a sack.
This comes from Daniel Jeremiah. Perhaps you heard of him.
Mm-hmm.
He's the draft guru for NFL Network. He's at Move the Sticks. And so he said, fun exercise. Took my top 150 players and assigned point values. My number one player is worth 150 points. My 150th player is worth 1 point. I guess you guys can kind of see how the system works for him. And so he put up the total points, and the total points for the draft went to the Carolina Panthers at 572 total points. But they had 11 picks. The Dolphins were number 2 on his list at 543 points. They only had 7 picks. Ergo, if you guys go point per pick, which he did,
PPP.
The Miami Dolphins, PPP, had the highest point per pick for his total talent points from Daniel Jeremiah, 77.6 points per pick, which is way higher than number 2, the New York Giants, who are at 71.8.
Now, the Carolina did have more total picks, but the Dolphins had more higher quality picks. They had more first rounders. They had more second rounders than Carolina.
He just said that exact thing, Robbie.
No, he said Carolina had more picks total. They had more picks in the later rounds, but the Dolphins.
Robbie, this is how he did the list.
Didn't you just say that, Tobin?
This is the whole point of why he's putting it out there. And even so, he's putting them above the New York Giants, the Detroit Lions, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Point per pick, the Dolphins by far had the highest.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the Dolphins had more higher points picks than the Panthers. They had more first and second round picks. The Panthers had more picks in the later rounds because the Dolphins did not have a 4th, 5th, or 6th round pick in the draft.
Oh, wouldn't you say? Well, that would up that. Wouldn't that up their point per talent picks? So they did that with even out those having those drafts. I think you just boxed yourself in.
No, it would bring the PPP down. No, it would bring if the Dolphins had more picks in the later rounds, the PPP goes down.
Unless they took more talented players, ergo it would have put their PPP up.
Oh God, I keep saying PPP.
Now, what's your rebuttal to Leroy Horde?
Well, before I get to that, I will warn the people. I love Mel Kiper, but famously back in 2017, he had the Chiefs in the draft where they got Patrick Mahomes and Kareem Hunt. He gave them a C+, and he said that they had given up too much for Mahomes, considering they had a bunch of needs elsewhere. I love Mel Kiper.
He also said that he'd quit if Jimmy Clausen wasn't going to be a good football player.
By the way,
still doing television.
By the way, which is why I hate this draft crap.
All right, but here's my rebuttal to Leroy. Because, Leroy, you said something around in this exact time yesterday before I signed on to the Twitch stream. I was listening on the radio rewind. You went on a rant. You made 3 points about me. First, you said, if Waddle's going to be a Hall of Famer, well, I just move on. I'm just going to move on to the next thing. I'm going to forget about that. First of all, why is everybody saying Jalen Waddle's going to be a Hall of Famer? Why is everybody saying
No, I didn't say that. Nobody said that.
Everyone in the Twitch chat, bro, he's Tyreek Hill, bro. He's Tyreek Hill.
No. Here, Robbie.
Robbie, when you say everybody, you mean Schmeeth and Schmolnick?
I got this. Here's what you need to understand. Robbie, it's prospecting. You have no idea what any of these guys are going to be, which makes it even more ridiculous that you're saying you should pick one player over another. Right, hold on. You don't know. Okay? But if they think hopefully this guy can end up being that, that's all anybody has ever said. Nobody said he's going to be Tyreek Hill.
That's the comparisons everyone's drawing. But anyways,
It's
why
a comparison.
why
They
am I?
say he's gonna beat him.
Well, why is that?
Go ahead,
Why are you the only one that has to be accountable? What if he's John Ross? What if he's Tavon Austin? What if he's a massive bust? Are you guys going to move on to the next thing? Or
that's his point. His point is that you're not going to acknowledge if you say if Waddle ends up being good, you're going to say, "Oh, I see. You're not going to acknowledge I never wanted him in the first place."
I have admitted. I've already admitted to being wrong. I was wrong about Tua Tagovailoa. I wanted the Dolphins to draft Tua Tagovailoa.
But that's another thing. You're way too soon on that.
Year?
Like after a year, you're just gonna bounce. Like this is the thing is
your eyes got to be better than any guy in football because nobody in football can tell yet.
Here's what you are. You know what you are, Robbie?
The Raiders game. That's all you need to know.
Sometimes NFL players need a meat thermometer, and what you are is you're like that little COVID scanner, bloop, and that's it. Fine, go.
So Leroy, are you going to admit to being wrong if Jalen Waddle just turns out to be an okay average receiver?
I do it all the time.
I don't know.
I thought that Derrick Henry was not going to be as good as the running back from
Ezekiel Elliott.
Ezekiel Elliott.
Which brings me to my next point on the rebuttal.
Which, by the way, let me just say, this isn't really a rebuttal at first point. All you're basically asking is, do you agree to admit that you're wrong?
Right.
This
I do it all the time.
This hasn't been an argument point at all.
Here's the next point. Leroy said, like, you guys are talking about Elijah Moore and how 32 teams passed on Elijah Moore in the draft. And, like, bro, we could play this game all day. We played this game with Derrick Henry. Again, 32 teams passed on that guy. 32 teams passed on A.J. Brown. 32 teams passed on Metcalf twice, almost.
Robbie.
Antonio Brown, Keenan Allen.
Here's the point about the draft, okay? They give these players grades, okay, as far as prospects. And what I'm saying is that you rate him higher than all these other guys, but there's 32 teams who didn't rate him higher than those guys.
There's 32 teams.
I'm not saying that one's going to have a better career over the other. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that if you're so great at this, how come with the grades that everybody has had, the grades that everybody's given this kid with more access than you, they all have deemed these other players better than him?
Well, that's what they said the same thing about
Derrick.
Derrick.
Doesn't mean they're right. But as far as prospecting, everybody was on board with all of the other players being better than him.
And
it may not work out that way. And that's my point. That's my point. You think Tom Brady would have been 199th if they knew that's who the hell he was going to be?
Okay, but that's why I don't buy the argument that 32.
You can't play the result though.
Okay, but
you take the information that you have, and the information that these 32 teams have deemed him to give him this grade. That grade means he's a second or third rounder. Okay.
And by the way, are you disagreeing with PPP because the Dolphins smoked the Jets in PPP and in total P?
Well, that sounds.
But it's true. I have the chart.
But like everybody is making it sound like, we drafted this guy, he's going to be the best player. The first thing I've said about the draft, Robbie, is prospecting. There's no guarantee any of these guys are going to be any good. You come at me and you come at the situation like these guys are going to be so much better as pros. And what I say to you is this. This is all I say to you. You do radio with me. These guys get paid millions of dollars to grade these players. And all 32 teams gave Waddle and the other receivers a higher grade than Moore.
And
doesn't mean he's not going to have a better career.
And they could be. They very well could be wrong. Just like, we're playing the result here. Everyone's coming at me. What if he's a Hall of Famer? What are you going to say? Isn't that playing the result?
That's not playing. That's not playing. Here's what we're saying, Robbie.
All it's asking is, are you going to acknowledge if it does happen to have? Even it doesn't even have to be Hall of Fame.
Robbie,
if Jalen Waddle ends up having,
he has to be way better. He has to be way better.
Why does he have to be way better?
Because of the cost the Dolphins paid to get him.
Here's what he has to do.
He can't be 700 yards.
He has to fit what the Dolphins want to do offensively.
1,200 yards.
Okay. No, really, Robbie?
At the price they paid, he's got to be amazing.
No,